My wife and I decided we wanted a nice bespoke oak kitchen, and we quickly realised that so much as a sink unit in solid oak would set us back £1,500. We simply couldn't afford this. A display cabinet like such as this, the one in the background there, would be £2,000. Ridiculous money. So we changed the search terms. So instead of looking for a bespoke oak kitchen, we looked for oak sideboards, and we got sideboards that matched. These were from Oak Furniture Land, all second hand. This one came with a leatherette top, which we changed. And this is the original surface on this oak cabinet. They come with drawers, good sized drawers, and cupboards with shelves, plenty of storage space. The one we've used for the sink unit, we've used it's a shortened version of the drainer, or the waste trap, and it frees up all of the space underneath the sink unit. We'll show you how that's made and fitted. Very robust construction. Very pleased with the quality. Not strictly oak. Some of the internal parts, again a chipboard, but not the same as the cabinets you find in sink units. And if you seal the edges as we have, well, makes a really good, strong, durable, and long-lasting oak unit. And the cupboard there was made out of 20mm solid oak floorboards, and so was this work surface here. The display unit, again, is for a sideboard, not strictly for a kitchen, but I'm sure you'll agree with me, it looks pretty good in our kitchen. Well, let's run you through the costs. The display cabinet was £80. The sink unit we've converted was £172. The drainer we picked up for £5. The stainless steel tap from eBay was £35. The water drinking tap was £29. The drainer was, from memory, £30. This unit was £180. I think the cast iron saucepan rack was, I can't remember, I think it was £18. And my son had the chopping board made for us for Christmas, which we're delighted with. It has a nice little wedge on the back, which enables it to fit into the corner nicely. Well, the video will show you how we made it on a shoestring budget, and we now have a kitchen that's going to last us for a lifetime. I forgot to mention the wine racks, 2 of them, again from eBay, and they're the IKEA racks, and they fill up this space nicely. In addition to the cost of the units, bear in mind that it was a waiting game and we had to travel fair distances to pick up the items. So we waited and tried to arrange for 2 items to appear in the same area. This enabled us to hire a van from a friend, and we were able to pick up several units in one go, saving us on fuel. Even so, it's still, with today's prices, still a fair amount to consider. Soon to be gone is the old kitchen, made of chipboard, complete with sagging shelves. Already started to remove the wall cabinet. I moved all the cupboards, the shelves and the doors, and moved all the junk into the new oak kitchen. I've got one unit in place. Sink unit's coming out now. What a mess. Bear in mind that even if you buy a top of the range oak, supposedly oak, solid oak kitchen, it'll still have these horrible standard carcasses with oak face doors on the front. All coming together nicely. Plastered the walls. A little bit of skill involved in plastering, but we managed. Unless you have experience in plastering and feel competent, this is one job that you will probably need to get an expert in to complete the job. You can get in a terrible mess. The new oak kitchen, made from a sideboard, needs to be shortened, and in this case what we're going to try and do is shorten this leg, so that will involve removing the one side, and inside there's a separate lining, so there's two linings, so we only need a few centimetres in width. So hopefully removing this and shortening this will give us the room to put the dishwasher in. We removed one of the side panels, the oak side panels, which as you can see is just dabbed with glue and a couple of staples. Now we're removing the back, so just be careful, just gently tap the staples and lever the staples at the back. Yep, we get some help from Olive. And that should suffice. So if you come in close and have a look, you can actually see that there's a double skin. So the idea is that we remove this outer skin and then take this panel and move it back. Well, that's the plan anyway. We'll remove the legs and remove the trim from the outside of the panel. And this is the leg. Come off again. As I suspected, no screws, just glued. There's the cavity, so we'll be cutting this off with a saw and then refitting the panels back to this, so we'll have shortened the sideboard sufficiently to allow the dishwasher to fit underneath the top. Now we need to saw off the excess wood.
a fine tooth saw as well, not a coarse saw. We need to shorten the leg. So what we're doing is we've clamped it to something solid to make an improvised voice, and then using a fine tooth saw we're taking it down, but you must keep the saw level. Just be sure to take all the sharp edges off. Nice rounded saw cut. After we remove the false panel, we've removed the oak panels from the false panel and moved it in and secured it to the inner panel. And this has given us the right width at the top to take the dishwasher. As you can see, the drawers now fit down the cut down leg, which we sawed, and the other two drawers will be there'll be false cupboards or false drawers. Some of these will hide the fittings for the sink and for the drainer. So we've managed to salvage a drawer and an extra cupboard by moving the dishwasher from the conservatory into the kitchen, and moving the washing machine from the kitchen out into the conservatory next to the tumble dryer. The wooden panels were glued back on with Evo-Stick weather wood adhesive, and the feet on the bottom of the cupboards were glued on with Gorilla Glue. That's a very strong glue that actually swells up as it dries, so it fills in gaps, making an even stronger bond. Excellent glue. After making a cup of tea, I added 3 tea bags to the teapot, and this is going to be left to stew. And then when it's cooled down a little bit, we'll use it to stain the new work surface, which is made from plywood. This is the plywood surface, which we've cut to actually fit and replace the leather look existing worktop. And we've got an overhang. This overhang will allow the cupboards to stand out, which will give us room for the pipework and the plumbing at the back of the units, and together with sufficient room for the dishwasher. For the worktop, we've used 6mm ply, and this will go onto the existing top, and it comes with a hardwood surface. In this case it looks like white oak. What we've done is we've used some strong tea, 5 or 6 tea bags, leave it to stew, and then we've applied a couple of coats to the surface to bring up the oak colour of the rest of the unit. We've notched the work surface out so that it fits snugly against the wall, and on the back of this end we will cut another strip, 6mm plywood, and this will get glued underneath this to give this end some additional strength. And then we'll apply a couple of coats of matte varnish Fortunately we have some in the shed which we used to do the floor with. As you can see, we've replaced the side panel now. I just cut the piece of the plywood out, and we've also stained this with a T. The varnish we're going to use for the worktop, for the plywood worktop, it cost £3 in a closing down sale. We've had it quite some time now. 2.5 litres, but it's extra durable floor varnish and it's a matte finish, so you won't get a horrible yucky varnish look. We'll be applying 2 or 3 coats of this, thin coats, possibly with a sponge, but we'll try it out on a bit of plywood first to see what's the best method of achieving the best finish. To fit the sink, what we've done, we've aligned the inner edge so that it misses the back of the unit and actually sits inside of the cupboard. And here we've made sure again that this edge sits inside of the centre part, and then we've marked the line all the way around, a fine pencil line. We found the centre by measuring and halving and doing the same in several directions. Placed a screw in the centre, tied a piece of string around a pencil with a loop on the end, measured in I think it was an inch from the side to give us the flange, and then draw the pencil line around, drill the hole to start off the jigsaw, and we'll just cut out the centre. We've left it, the screw that we've left in the centre, we can actually use this to support the blank that we're cutting out. Just trying to sink in. There's a bit of adjustment needed in a few places. We'll get these taken up there. All in all, so we just have to nip that little bit round with the jigsaw. The same is done for the drainer. Cut out a hole, leaving sufficient of an edge to seal. There's our new kitchen unit, and the plumbing will have to go in through here. Right, we need to support the back of this where the overhang of our worktop plywood sheet is, so we're using a bit of Gorilla Glue, which we'll just put down the top edge, because this stuff swells as it dries. So it expands. Excellent stuff. Now we need to put the wedge in place. This will support the worktop. So this will be glued and screwed to get it roughly in place. Always move it about later. We can put a clamp on it where we've cut the sink. So that's the one fixing. A few screws just to hold it in place. Make sure they're going in at the right angle. right in. Actually that looks a bit raised, that's a bit raised that is, so we'll take him out a bit and then pop him back so he's nice and flush. You generally where the pins are in the back is the staples are in the back, you can pop a screw in safely. So we'll just have a look at that. How's that look? You need to apply the varnish sparingly, and we'll do quite a few coats. And this is a matte varnish. The worktop's had 2 days to dry now. It's had 5 coats of varnish, 4 coats of strong tea, which had about 4 tea bags and a small amount of water, and that brought the oak colour out nicely. We've cut out the hole for the tap using the appropriately sized tang cutter. And there's a hole cut out the back which needs to be widened a little bit to take the waste pipe from the drainer, and the same will happen here. We'll need a hole in the back to take the waste pipe for the sink. What we're hoping is as well is that by using a low, let me show you. This is what they call a low or a flat waste trap. As you can see, that screws onto the bottom of your basin, and it's a very low profile, which means that you'll have a lot more cupboard space underneath. And for the hang on a second. For the drainer, I'm using one of these from a low or flat compact bath waste. And the beauty of it is that it's 50% of the diameter, but it's designed in such a way to bring the pipe up higher. And the idea there is that once we've installed the drainer, we may be able to use or reuse the original drawer, or we may need to adapt the drawer. We'll have to wait and see. Assemble the overflow, which has just got the screw, and we've put in the drainer, and we put a little bit of silicone, clear silicone around that. There wasn't a seal supplied for that side, but there is a seal supplied for this side. Now this is the overflow system. That has to be cut off so that it comes into line. And we just, with a fine, always use a fine tooth saw when you're sawing through plastic pipe or timber even. It's quite effortless. Just clean off any bits of plastic. So if you don't clean the burr off, that can catch the rubbish from the waste. Now the trick is, I think what we'll have to do is take this off again, fit this, and then refit this. This is the flat water trap we got from Tool Station. It was about £5, I think. Rubber seal there, so when you need to drain the, if you lose your diamond ring down the down the tap, and this the rubber seal fits on to the drainer, and the blanking cap, obviously you'll need to cut the end off there, which is should be obvious. The beauty of these is the amount of space saving it saves underneath the sink unit. So that just comes into line there, and this will take the hose for the dishwasher, and that will be the waste out. Actually, if like me you're fitting a round sink, you'll need to choose the round rubber. It's profiled to fit the round sink. They usually come with two rubbers. Obviously this is for the flat surface. That's the elbow that we've put in place, which is part of the low-level bathroom waste. So that would normally fit as part of a bath soil trap. And because we've got that, we've still got the drawer. And under there, in stark contrast to the video footage we have of the old sink unit, that's the new soil or waste trap. This is how it looks underneath the old sink unit. Terrible. All that plumbing at the back will stay behind the unit. So we'll have one flexible pipe joining the wastes, another flexible pipe joining the drainer, and we'll have two flexible pipes joining the taps, and the whole thing will be hidden behind the new unit, so it'll be nice, neat and tidy. Right, using clear silica, so we'll just put a nice seal around the stainless steel worktop. Sure there's plenty on. I always use wet wipes to wipe off excess silica. Very, very good tip. In fact, wet wipes will wipe off oil and grease. Out the centre drawer and took out the back, cut down the back a little so that it slides underneath the washing bowl, and now we're just adding a little bit of Gorilla Glue to the sides just to secure the drawer in place, and it won't move. Tricky to get these in. So now we have a working drawer which can be used for some low level stuff, maybe a tea towel or a couple of tea towels. Now at the back of the unit, if you remember, we created an overhang. So this was so that the pipes and all of the fittings could be on the outside of the cupboards. And we're very close now. We installed a flexible connection there for the main waste pipe. And we've had to increase the length of the hoses for the dishwasher, so we've got a 2.5 metre hose. And this is a good tip as well, because our water's heated for free. So rather than have a cold feed for our dishwasher, we've got a hot feed for the dishwasher, and this is saving a fortune on heating the water up electrically inside the machine. Yes, the dishes do have a hot rinse as well, but like I said, the water is either heated by our log burner or by the solar panel, so it costs us nothing. Nice little tip, and we're almost ready. Another little tip, because where we've put this waste pipe, where it's coupled there, it's just a compression fitting. Now if this pipe's filled with hot water, and there's a chance that the compression fitting might actually drop off, so I've just created a simple little bracket, and the bracket just hooks over there and hooks underneath, and that supports this when it's filled with water. To make our worktop, we've used 22mm floorboards in oak, and we've glued them together and clamped them together, and then we've sanded down the surface taken the plane to the edges and rounded off the edges with the sander, and sanded out the tongue part of the tongue and groove on the outer edge, and that can make a nice worktop and also a base for the display unit. The best way to mark the brackets is to use a piece of wood. Make sure that it's nice and straight, away around the eye, along the timber. Place it across the unit, and using an offcut of the timber, this gives us a line. So draw a pencil line. Do the same for the other side. The pencil line in, and draw a line across, and then arrange your brackets. Take care not to drill through any pipework or any wires behind the brackets. And we've used the galvanised fluted brackets, which are nice and discreet under the work surface, and once coated with emulsion, they'll be hardly visible. And it should look quite nice when it's done. And this will carry the worktop, and then the worktop will carry the dresser. To fix the brackets to the walls and to fix the brackets to the work surface, we're using stainless steel screws, which are the maximum thickness for the brackets. You need to make sure that the screws they use to fix the work surface fall short of poking through, so they need to be short of the 22mm thickness plus the thickness of the bracket. Another good tip is when you've drilled and raw plugged the hole, you'll need to drive the raw plugs behind the plaster. So we use a bolt, and we'll just punch the raw plugs right into the brickwork, and this will make the strongest possible joint. With the timber fixed to the sides of the cupboards to support the top, and we now have all 4 brackets in place. To the work surface, 2 coats of tea, strong tea, have been applied to give us the right colour, and then we'll be sealing the top and the bottom with a mixture of wax and linseed oil with some turpentine, and sealing all the edges and seal underneath and the top, because this prevents warping. If one side's sealed and the other side can absorb moisture, it will cause the wood to bend. After applying a couple of coats of tea to bring the colour down a little bit, we're now applying an old furniture wax, which smells a little bit of turpentine, maybe a little bit of oil in there, but very, very good, nice rich helping. And we need to do this a couple of times. Make sure you seal all the underside and all the top side, all of the edges, and this will help prevent warping, because if you wax one side or oil one side and leave the other side raw, the water will be absorbed by the other side and it will cause the plank to warp. Using the remainder of the tongue and groove, we've managed to glue the pieces together. I used a piece of plywood to glue 2 grooves together, and all of the joints we've secured with Gorilla Glue. We'll have to sand these down a little bit, and the screws we've popped in from the outside. I'm going to make a wooden frame for the door to cover this up, and that will probably have a piece of either white perspex or some smoke glass, or even a plywood panel with oak facing, just to finish it off. And from the old cupboard we managed to salvage some of the glass shelves, so we have four of these shelves which fit nicely. We made sure that they take the tallest of the jars for the food cupboard, and the place underneath we've saved for the microwave oven. Now on this side, the other gap, we're using some stainless steel wine racks from IKEA. They're not fitted yet, and they'll be raised up off the floor a little, up off the shelf a little, and screwed to the wall. And that's a nice space saving piece, and finishes off the kitchen nicely. Okay, we've fixed these, but we've not screwed the screws in tightly. These wine racks are stainless steel from IKEA. We got them from eBay, and including the postage they were £12 each. So we've screwed the screw heads in, but we've not tightened them up because they're like a slot, a key slot, so you can remove them easily by lifting them up and slotting them off the wall. So we just measured, and in our case it was 8.5 inches from the wall. So now we just measure the 4 holes. Get a pencil marking. Now we need to drill holes. Make sure there's no pipework or wiring behind the wires, behind the. The wine rack's now in place, and takes the wines. Voila.